everyday superpower where we talk body language, relationships, game, and everything in between. I got a good one in store for you today, people. Talking game as always, and what we're actually going to discuss today is what we may perceive as a Jungian discussion, one of archetypes, although this correlates all the way back to the days of old, representing ourselves or projecting ourselves perhaps through the avatars of Hindu tradition, the characteristics and personification of God or Brahman themselves, and in these avatars we see ourselves. Let's bypass the jargon and get stuck into what I mean. We're talking about masculinity today. We're talking about appealing to the feminine. We're looking at making ourselves better and integrating all which makes us attractive to the feminine and understanding oneself in the process. So, I'm going to talk about masculine archetypes in seduction. And I'm going to speak on four foundational archetypes, right? We could go on and on and on all day about the multitude of different hats we can wear, right? But I'm going to speak on four different archetypes, that being the lover, that being the warrior, that being the king, and that being the magician. And the beauty of it all is you possess the characteristics and traits of all four of these archetypes, and she is ever so attracted to the traits of these four archetypes. So we're off to a good start, aren't we? Okay. Now, let me just get you the definition of archetype if you are unaware. An archetype is a universally understood symbol, pattern, or prototype that serves as the original model from which all other things are copied or based. Okay? So, this is essentially a model one may base themselves off. Add a little outfit upon the top, do their own rendition of it, but the underlying foundation, the underlying principles remain the same. Okay? And we're going to get into the details of that right now. So, every man has access to these four core masculine archetypes. And to master them will allow a man to embody magnetism on multiple levels: passion, power, wisdom, leadership. Starting off with the lover, okay? This is when a man can engage in a passionate manner, in a sensual manner. He's attuned to emotion and beauty, so this is the creative element of man, arguably somewhat of a touch of the feminine within the demeanor of this man, the androgynous, the Casanova archetype, the Don Juan archetype, the Russell Brand, the flamboyant, the understanding. In regards to attraction triggers, this element of the man can showcase emotional availability, emotional vulnerability, creating engagement within the language she as a woman understands. In that emotional depth, from this lover archetype, we create an intimacy. In that intimacy, we create an undercurrent of eroticism. In nonverbal communication, body language, the intimate space is one that couldn't be any closer. Further from that is the personal space. When we're personal, we're friends. When we're intimate, we're lovers. The lover archetype is empathetic. So the lover is not egocentric, is not self-centered, is actually under the skin of the woman, can see her for who she is, doesn't speak to her flesh and bone, but speaks to her soul, her conscious, and all that she is. Has a fine attention to detail and delves into the space where most men daren't, out of fear of being perceived as weak or feminine, more than likely through how they were brought up by their father figure, or lack thereof. The warrior archetype is the second of the four. This element of man is action oriented. The warrior is courageous, the warrior is protective, the warrior goes out and gets the money. The warrior goes to war every day to ensure that the family is looked after. The warrior portrays himself in a multitude of different situations, but you could argue that generally this would be the beta male. The man who garners resources. The man who is the father figure. We do have another father figure coming up, but this man takes action. He's confident, entrepreneurial, perhaps. Comes with an edge, comes with risk, but that risk is calculated. The excitement from this archetype creates a drama within that woman's life which is intoxicating. It's fun. I like riding the roller coaster, and the tried and tested warrior who comes back with a bump and bruise from time to time, but never anything life-threatening, allows her to believe in him through a recognition of patterns. The warrior is disciplined, assertive, decisive, and physical. The decisiveness allows the woman to submit, as she allows him to lead like the man he is. The third archetype, rooted in your psyche, or in the collective unconsciousness of all men, that they are unaware of the power they possess, is the king. This figure represents authority, stability, guidance. The king is wise. The king doesn't go to war. What the king does is stays behind. He commands the soldiers. He owns the business. He sheds the wisdom, shines the light in the darkness, provides security, direction, and is a symbol of what that woman needs to see in you in order for you to garner long-term, serious, committed attraction and commitment. The king leads without ego, through experience, knowledge. The king makes grounded decisions. And that groundedness allows the feminine to be safe, respected and admired for who she is, for what she provides that he doesn't. Even though the king leads, is the head. He understands the feminine for what she is, and what she is still the other half as to what he does not possess. As in his king energy, she represents and mirrors back the queen. Moving onwards to the last archetype, we've got the magician. The magician is wise. The magician is creative and transformative. The magician can transform oneself, can generate mystery, fascination, inspiration. The magician can tell stories. The magician can turn nothing into something. Strategic, intelligent, charming, persuasive, and influential. The magician can cast a spell with words as well as actions. The magician stimulates the imagination of the woman and lures her into the realm of fantasy she's always desired. The magician does this through intelligence, not through childlike performance, but through a genuine wisdom and well learned knowledge of the people that surround him. He doesn't learn about her as much as he learns about himself, and in learning himself, his interaction with her reflects that which he is. He casts a spell upon her. He's a magician. These four archetypes speak directly to the feminine perception. These women generally across the world are subconsciously drawn to the different facets of masculine energy that reside within you, that stem from these four archetypes. You yourself may portray one character more than the others, such as your friend or your father or your uncle or your son might portray one more so than the other, but the potential to integrate elements of the other archetypes into one's persona and understanding and psyche is more than definitely possible. We don't have to go and learn anything outside of our wants or needs to be able to manifest the characteristics of these archetypes. These reside within the foundational principles and biological hardwirings of what a man is and what that woman biologically seeks out. There's a fluidity as you move between these figures in relation to her energy. Alike the king, she can represent the queen and be in her queen energy. She can represent the maiden, the mother, the crone. She can represent the wise. And she herself, alike yourself, can be a lover too. We can talk about biological principles of you need to garner resources, you need to portray a degree of dominance and status and be in good shape for health reasons, as the undercurrent is she needs to survive and procreate, and that's the be all and end all of her attraction to you. What do you provide that ticks those boxes, right? And then we can use these as building blocks above those principles and start to symbolize groupings of characteristics into entities that reside and manifest within us. Each archetype is a manifestation of masculine energy expressed in life and seduction. And when you master yourself, when you integrate all facets of your masculine entity, you create a conscious embodiment that exists without ego or over identification. You are quite simply yourself, and yourself possesses the divine masculine. If one relies so much on the warrior, you become aggressive, rigid. We're speaking on overcompensation here. The lover is represented as indulgent, lacks direction, just slow, addicted, sloth-like, right? These are mistakes we're speaking. The king energy can become controlling, can be boring, dictating, authoritarian. And the magician can be manipulative. The magician can be distant. The magician could shroud himself to a distasteful manner that repulses the woman. So even though she's attracted to the four archetypes, it represents that which she isn't. That is the masculine. That feminine needs that masculine. Like anything, there is a duality and a polarity to each and every single archetype and characteristic. So to integrate all as one is the intention. This is the blueprint for seduction. To be able to flow between the lover, the warrior, the king, the magician, blending passion, power, presence, intrigue. You become otherworldly, yet ever so worldly, rooted into the ancestry of what is. Why do you think we see these characters represented time and time again in fiction, in Disney films, in the most popular media across the world? It's because these archetypes speak to our deepest unconscious that we all share together. And you understanding this, you garnering this information and looking deeper into this, is going to allow you to garner information and knowledge on what you are and what she wants to such an incredible degree that every man on planet Earth is going to be asking you how you did it, and you're not going to be able to explain how. Unless you get into your magician archetype. That's some game. Click like and subscribe. Peace.